little bit of airbrushing here that we're going to do on some 3D painted vehicles. Or some 3D printed vehicles. Painted. Well, they're not painted yet. So we're going to just prime these and see where we get on with those. Four of them are for Africa Corps, and one of them is a 251 ambulance that my friend Jose gave me while I was in Spain. So I haven't done an ambulance before, so I feel like doing some 3-color stuff today. So we will see how we left the airbrush last time. So we're going to do the primer stuff first. So because of that, we need to use this nozzle. Okay, with this needle. You drop the needle in from the front. Drop the nozzle in. Put the end. And always crank down on it with a wrench. Now you can see that we left this pretty darn clean last time. And we're going to be using primer. So we're going to need to run this up pretty high. Really should have bought more of these. You can't have too many of these. The little alligator clips. They're super handy. Alright, we're going to need a body cavity search glove. I prefer to wear that on the left side. If you need the body cavity search glove on the same side you're using the airbrush, you are in fact making one hell of a mess. It shouldn't do any good on that side. If you're spraying paint all over that side, you got problems. Your name is Pickles. Do you like pickles? Bump this all the way up. All the way up to like 45 psi. You don't like pickles. Well, that's not a good name. That'd be like me calling myself ketchup. I hate ketchup. God, I hate ketchup. Okay. Happy Sunday to you. And 12 viewers, just like that. 15 viewers. Why are there so many viewers when I go vertical? And it's a shame because the resolution isn't as good and the video's backwards. And there's nothing I can do about either one of those two. So we're going to test this first on a 251. And these are all 1/72nd scale for those of you guys that don't know. We're going to clip this on here. You can say your name is Ariana. She bugs me. She acts like she's like, I'm not that I know anything about her, but she acts like she's like 7 years old. Good morning, Belle. Corey McGregor. Welcome, sir. Okay, so what we're going to do is, I am not a airbrush professional. I'm a painter professional. Which, I guess I should do my videos vertically, because then I can actually provide something that's like, you know, not full of mistakes as much. But I've been relatively successful with this. We're using an Iwata HPCS airbrush. And we're going to use the Viejo primer. I am Sigma. I know, I almost had to look that up, but thank you. As long as you're not Omega, right? That's a bad thing. Sigma, yeah, I'd say I'm Alpha, but I don't want to control people. I'm not a life of the party. That's like a frat boy thing. Okay, there we go. We're spraying really, really thin on here. Let's see if I can show you guys. Oh my gosh, that would be perfect for the 3-color camouflage on the half track. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see if we can replicate that. I traveled to Spain recently, and I met a guy on Facebook. That sounds terrible. I mean, unless you're into that. And military modeling guy, and he lived nearby, and he actually brought me some goodies, and this is one of the goodies that he brought. So I've been chatting him up for 3 or 4 years, probably. So nice guy. So I figured the least I can do is paint the stuff that he gave me. That'd be rude just to take shit and not do anything with it. So we're working his stuff in little by little. I didn't realize he actually was a 3D printer. Or he prints in 3D. And just like that, it's done. Aurelio Andes Vallejos. Does that mean you get this paint for free? I am in Florida, and it is 1:40 p.m. That's really strange. When I do this vertical live things, I get people from all over the world that aren't familiar with whatever my hobby is, and now it's raining again. Oh well, it's all sunshine in here. All right. Panzerkampfwagen 3G. 3D printed. All right, here we go. This is for the Africa Corps. I just finished doing 4 of these. Oh, route. Yeah, when I get these live sessions, I get people that aren't really familiar with my hobby channel. I think I just looked at it recently. I got like almost 1,500 videos. Just basically when I do my hobby stuff, I just do it live. You know, I don't want to take this stuff to the grave. Maybe you'll watch and you'll see something that's of worth to somebody. I don't do Patreons or anything like that. Just come online and chit chat, keep me company, or maybe we'll learn something. Some people like to say you can thin this stuff. I guess you probably can, but this isn't standard paint. This is like some polyurethane type of thing. So it runs kind of thick. I like to not thin it, so I'm just using a bigger nozzle. I'm using a 0.5 nozzle on here. And a pretty high pressure. the big difference in the last couple of years that I've been doing airbrushing that makes a big difference, that I'm not as stupid about it, ignorant about it as I used to be, is I've read about this before I ever did it, that you need to kind of figure out on your own what pressures work for you for different paints. I'm like, well, how the hell am I supposed to figure that out? Well, trial and error. And one thing's for sure, I think pretty much every time I put away the airbrush and I bring it back online, it works flawlessly. So I'm doing a good job of cleaning it. I've got that part down. But it is a slow process to learn. Okay, I think that's probably good enough. Just primer black. So if you miss a spot, it ends up being really dark. And I've got this little piece of styrofoam that I'm punching these things into. Works really well. There's actually another piece below it, which grabs it. So this one's falling over really isn't falling over. Going through both pieces. Okay, next one. We'll do the turret. You know what? We need the get rid of my lids. I had a bunch of little soda lids here. This will probably work. Great product here is this, it's called white tack or blue tack. It's like stuff to put posters on the walls. It's great for like a non-permanent basing solution for your stuff. I use it a lot for a lot of things. Yeah, I wonder why that is. I wonder why I get all kinds of suggestions as soon as I do. I don't normally film vertically. First of all, the video's backwards and there's nothing I can do about it. But I do my normal show every morning and I don't get a whole lot of people. So I don't know whether this gets suggested to a lot of folks that are already on their phones. Because everybody's on their phone all the time. But it'd be interesting to find out why. Maybe I should do tomorrow's a work day. Oof. If I do another paint session, we'll do a vertical one back in the house. This is my studio here, so to speak. Whoa! That's fine that it shifted. I don't want it to fall off. My studio here, so to speak, in the garage. In the cluttered garage. Cluttered because it's got all my daughter's stuff from college. And we're done again. Put more in. Even though I have a tank, this thing seems to run constantly because it's such a high pressure. And the sealant that I use, the Vallejo Premier color, it's the same thing. It is also really thick. So I got to run it like at this PSI as well. Or reduce it. And I don't have a problem running at this high PSI. We'll drop it down when we're actually putting the color on. Okay, and this one's done as well. And we'll do the same thing. Go back inside and get some more of the stickum stuff. I got tons of it inside. We don't want this hitting the ground and breaking. Two left, and then we'll go back to the half track should be dry then. I'm going to take the one that's been sitting on this one the longest. And I'll put the turret onto this one. Make sure it's secure. And the last one. And take the clip off the German half track. Paint over that little spot where the clip was. And then we'll go ahead and put all the prime colors down here so they can dry a little bit. So this evening, we can give them a wash. It's just shy of 2 p.m. here. We've got lots of weekend left. I hope we have enough to do this. That would be a shame to have to put more in there. right, so there's a little bit of this left. As I've said before, don't buy something really expensive. Just a jug will do just fine. And what I like to do with this stuff is I like to go ahead and let's go ahead and get a garbage box. Just take this, get as much of this stuff out as you can. And then put a little bit of the airbrush cleaner and use the little brush that it comes with. Get all that stuff out of there. And then I like to just pour that out. There's no point in blowing it through the airbrush. Then, now that we don't have a whole lot of, and just doing this is help clean it quicker. You just take a paper towel, give it a quick wipe down, and the inside's good as new. So we're getting better at that. Now, there's probably still going to be some stuff I'm going to run into as we change out this the needle and the nozzle. Really, we're going to back this out a little bit so that it's not sticking out. That's good to go. This is the nozzle for the 0.5. Make sure we can see daylight through that. We can. Okay, let's take a look at this needle. And there's an area here where there is the black paint on there. So we'll take that off. And when we're ready to prime, we're going to be able to do that again. Now let's make a little bit of music. Okay. And we should be good to go. We will install the other needle, the 0.35, more precise needle, and a more precise nozzle to make sure we can still see through that. Yep. Okay. Tighten it up. And you can hand tighten it, but air gets in that way. You need to push the needle all the way back in. Should be ready to rock and roll. Let's test it with some airbrush cleaner, which we've made, and we probably need to make some more relatively soon. All right, ready to rock and roll. Now, we're going to go ahead and do the Dunkelgelb half track first. So what we're going to use is we're going to use this stuff right here. It is from Ammo MIG, and it is for airbrushing. It says it's for hand painting as well. These suck for hand painting. They're almost like formulated for airbrushing. Like you don't even have to thin them. So right now we're way too high on the airbrush. We're like a 45. So we're going to drop this to about 15. So what we're going to do is we're going to hold this down and we're going to dial this down to where we need to be. Okay. And that's what we're going to run. So let's get the base color out here. And I'm going to warn you, it's going to look like shit. Dunkelgelb base. You can hear us. It's very, very watery. I like to test it with just a couple drops. And then we're going to get something here to spray test it on. Preferably something dark. Do I have something dark that shows up a little bit better? No, we're going to test it over in this area right here. Looking pretty good. All right, let's get one of these alligator clips. Is this one secure? No, it's not. This one's definitely iffy. Okay, we're going to give this an overall color of this. And we're out of paint because you only get a tiny little amount. So if that used up 2 dots, we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should have enough to do the rest of it with that. We'll lightly cover it everywhere. And then we're going to put it stronger on panel lines. I don't know if this makes a huge difference because of how I paint, but it's good practice for nozzle control. So we've got a vehicle that's got some preliminary shading on it. I'm going to leave the canvas top alone. That's the base color. That's the one they recommend for the base color in that set. Tiny little airbrush cleaner, a little bit of airbrush cleaner, because we're just going to use another lighter shade on top of it. Okay, this is the Dunkelgelb base. The next color up in here is what they like to call the Dunkelgelb highlight. And there's one that's called Dunkelgelb shine, which is like damn near white. We won't be using that one. I'm actually going to drop the pressure a little bit on that. We don't want a lot of this to come out. And I would normally be doing this by hand. I would normally dry brush this. 2 should be enough. But the problem is this paint's being so watery. I love these colors, but for dry brushing, this paint is torture. Okay. This is a very light color. Now, when we do the brown wash on here, it's going to darken this significantly, but this helps that when you do that wash, you're not going to have a uniform finish on the vehicle. If you look at a vehicle that's been out in the weather, it's not the same, even though it was painted all the same color, it's not weathered evenly the same as something that comes out of the factory. And if it's weathered evenly the same, it just looks weird. Okay, so we've got some variations here in the color of this vehicle already. Let's not forget to do the front. There we go. And this thing's going to have big ass red crosses and stuff on here. So this is not a combat vehicle per se. Or it shouldn't be a combat vehicle. All right, so we got that. Now, at this point, I don't do the shine. I'm going to do the camouflage. I'm going to attempt to do the camouflage. Now we'll put this away. All right, we're going to start with the green first. Olive Grün, option 2. It's got to be fairly heavy so that it ends up going, you can see it through the brown wash. And then we've got the brown that we're going to do as well. And I end up doing a dry brush of the weathering over it, so if it sometimes doesn't turn out exactly how I want it, it'll soften the edges of it quite a bit. Chocolate brown, as it's called. Yeah, see, when I make mistakes like that, which I make all the time, unfortunately, they're easy to correct with by doing the overbrush. Okay, just a basic color like this. Sealing or undercoating? Yes, I guess this would be undercoating. Okay, so this is going to be an ambulance half track. And it's going to have a big yellow white star on it. I might even have a lot of white painted on it. Probably not, because that looks weird as hell. You have to explain that to people. It doesn't make sense. So. And that's not the color it ends up. It's like, man, that doesn't look like the right Dunkelgelb. It will. All right, let's get this the hell out of here. And then we're going to do Panzer Gray on the rest of the vehicles. All right, put this away. Put this whole paint set away. That's probably a good thing. Paint something different. Paint a couple things different along the way so you don't get tired of painting it same old, same old. All right. This is ready to go inside. All right. The Panzers. What about the Panzerkampfwagens? Gray base. Nothing fancy. This is exactly how I paint those African Corps vehicles. Go ahead and do all the chassis. Surprised it's running so much considering it's like under 220 psi. That all the rain we're gonna get? Came out here earlier to put the windshield wipers on my car because that's the hardest thing I've had to do today. The instructions they give you are pitiful. They're absolutely pitiful. I had to watch a YouTube video. all we're going to do is we're going to finish doing this. We're going to have to stop this video, bring it inside, start another vertical video. What happened here? That one's done. That one's done. Okay, all these are done. Okay. And we just put 2 turrets on this. Start another video, do the wash, do the washes on them, and then cut out for a few hours. While that dries, because we can't touch anything while it's. That's the part of the. That's the only part of painting these I don't like, is I gotta wait. I don't think we're gonna have enough to make it all the way. Now, we're going to need a few drops for this. Count them 2. The presence of an ambulance suggests that there will be medic figures to paint. I do. Well, I didn't get the ambulance. The ambulance wasn't my... It's funny, I have a medic painted, but no ambulance for him. Now we'll have a German ambulance with no German medics. It was just the easiest one of those things to paint. And it's something I don't have any of. And it's an opportunity to freehand something else. Okay, now put this away and do the part that seems wrong. And that is using the sand growl for the highlight. This is a damn near off-white color. But again, it's something else that can lend itself to not make the finish of the vehicle look uniform. Not look like a die-cast vehicle. It was all painted one color. All right, sand growl. And that's from this set right here. I know it's backwards. There's apparently no way to fix it. I mean, I have to use the other camera, and I can't use the other camera. I don't know what the fuck's being filmed. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's try 6. See if that's about what we need. All right, let's try to find one that's I could probably hold this in my hand. It's not going everywhere. Come on. Just something like this. And that's not white, even though it looks like it is. Yeah, I've never had an ambulance of any kind. Hello, Marcus. One more drop. Like I said, I'm going to... I don't think I can stop this feed. I can mute it. I can do this. Oh, there we go. Look at the back of that. Oh, there is a zoom function on there. Okay, interesting. Finished all your chores, now back to hobbying. So I'm going to have to start another video in a moment. I got to go inside. I'm almost done with this. We got to go inside and give these guys a... Actually, these guys are going to get a dry brush. And then they'll all get a wash. Then we'll have to stop for a little bit and come back on and on. You finished all your self-imposed chores. Okay, now this one's complete. And just, Marcus, since you missed it, we went ahead and painted this thing, or at least prep painted the ambulance. The wambulance. I'm going to try to work on some of those, some of Jose's vehicles intermixed. That way we don't get tired of all things Africa. Krankenwagen. Sounds like, it does like sound like a vehicle where somebody's angry. Or a vehicle with too many people that are taking meth. It's the Krankenwagen. Look out! Those guys are angry! last one. Okay. Almost looks like winter. It's not. All right, so we're going to grab all this stuff here. Oh, this one could use some more stuff on it. I don't know how much difference this even makes. But hey, I'm using one of the colors it's supposed to be for. Household chores. Tiana and Jackie are coming back tonight from a gymnastic meet in Rochester. You get to stay home and do the chores. All right, so this is what we got. This is what we're going to bring inside. We're going to let's go ahead and clean this, and then we'll stop this video feed and we'll start it again. Yes, bonus. You need a new agent for negotiations there. Rochestershire. You guys got snow on the ground up there still, or? They drive out there or take the train? The train, boss, the train. The only thing I didn't like about taking a train is, whoa, hello, is you've got these seats that are facing somebody else. And you can't tell, at least you couldn't tell on the train I went on, whether the seats are going to be facing backwards or forwards. So both train trips I took, there and backwards, the seats were going opposite. Because you actually buy the seat. You can't just like get on the train and get whatever seat you want. Which that's my preference. Oh, I see what we forgot to do. All right, let's do this correctly. Let's do this correctly. I forgot this step. It's a light in New York City. They flew to Rochester as upstate is getting heavy snow. Man, I hate flying. And at least, you know, on all the flights that I took recently, I was actually okay with the lack of turbulence. It's just all the fucking airport security fucking stresses me out. You know, there's those people that are just grumpy as shit. Actually, the airport security in the States, the people that have work in the security in the States are much larger assholes than the ones in Europe. European ones are actually all right. Okay, and then we will clean. Sorry, pressing the button at the same damn time. Okay, this thing is clean. And now we will turn this thing off. All right, and while this thing goes back to normal, we're going to take this and bring it inside, and we'll be back on in a few moments. Bye-bye.